Hi, I'm Kathy and I'm a member of Lee Community Church. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about my testimony and just how it's changed my life and the positive things that it's brought about in my life. So really it started quite simply with just looking for somewhere to get my hair done. I was going to a do of some sort and I'd been let down by the hairdressers. Not their fault, somebody was sick and they couldn't do it. And eventually I found Divas and I spoke to Amber on the phone and she was like, true Amber style, no, not a problem, we can do it, come straight down. So I walked in and immediately, actually, I felt at home and I sensed a very peaceful atmosphere. Obviously now I know it was God's presence. I was just having my hair done and there was a book in front of me called Moments with God. As I was reading, I started to chat to Amber about God and the fact I did believe, but I'd never been to church because I'd never really felt welcome in churches. So I think I burst into tears at some point and just pulled my heart out really because I was in a bit of a low place. I think, yeah, I ended up giving my heart to God right there and then in the hairdressers, which my fiance Mark thought was very strange. But Amber kindly gave me the details of Alpha Course, which is where you just learn a bit more about God, and it was with the Lee Community Church. Well, I went and I loved it. I missed a few because of illness, but I went to most, and I went again and did the course over at a later stage. I met John and Elizabeth, Amber, Sue, Jilly, Joe, Kez, etc. I can't remember everybody, but it was familiar faces from the Alpha course. I started to go to the Sunday church at Lee Community Centre and I was really low when I started. I was on 2 sticks and I had splints on my wrists and I was really in bad pain with my back. People welcomed me so warmly and I didn't really talk to a lot of people at first because I was a little bit scared and down. But everybody smiled and waved and said welcome, and couple of weeks later Aisha came up to me and she had the biggest smile on her face and she just hugged me. And she hugged me for ages and then she just started to talk to me about my life and my illness and things like that. Elizabeth and Sue mentioned Sozo, which is saved and healed or something. Sorry, saved, healed and delivered. And I was really keen to do that because I knew that I had quite a few problems that I wanted to talk about. Gradually I made great friends and Sue Dales did a course with me about becoming a Christian, etc. She was amazing with me and helped me gave me some confidence in God. And John and Elizabeth did a lot of healing on me and I had a therapy called Sozo, which I've already said once, sorry. It was brilliant though. My fiance Mark started to see great improvements in my mental health and my physical health. He came along one day to collect me and he felt God's presence. He spoke to Sue and Aisha and Elizabeth and that he had felt something and they knew that he had felt God's presence. He was hooked and he quickly knew that he wanted to become a Christian, and it had nothing to do with me, it was God. God just called him to be saved. God himself, no one else. He had felt God and it was so moving to me. Gradually we both had more mental and physical support through healing, prayer and the great support of John and Elizabeth Young and the Community Church, Lee Community Church. All of the wonderful people in it, and the splints came off my wrists and my back became more bearable and I stood a little straighter. My balance improved a little and I became more at peace with myself, and so did Mark. Mark had more mental healing to do with me and I watched how his mood brightened and he was just so happy. We went to lessons and gatherings and gained a whole new family. We forgave and we forgot, and God showed us how to do that. God was freeing us. We were baptised and we gave our testimonies, and Mark, of course, was much funnier than me. A slightly sad part coming up, but I don't want to harbour on it too much because it is sad. But unfortunately, in November 28th, 2018, I sadly lost my love, Mark, my best friend and my everything. You all know what happened. It was cancer and it was over as soon as it began. Aisha prayed him home as he took his last breaths, and we told him to look for Jesus. He clutched at the cross around his neck, and I knew that because he had found Jesus, he was not afraid. He was at last at peace, and I thank God every day for saving him. A whole new phase of my life has then began, a life without Mark and the man of my dreams. Grief hit hard and friends rallied round, and my lovely church family held me up. They cooked for me, and Lois talked to me about heaven as I was struggling. Aisha was my rock, and Elizabeth and John, my old friends, they all rallied round, and I was okay. I was heartbroken and devastated, but I knew Mark was with God. I had a hospital appointment recently, and I had to have an MRI, and I have them quite regularly due to a health condition. In my last MRI, the neurologist phoned me, and he said I had no new changes on my scan, and I was ecstatic and overjoyed as I knew it was God. I know they can't guarantee everything, but for now, I'm 100 times better off than I was when I first found God. Before I close, I just want to tell you something about the first time I sat at Lee Community Church. I looked around, scared and lonely, but people smiled and waved. I saw a few people I recognised, as I said before, but I felt very self-conscious. This singing started, and it was Tracy that day, and Elizabeth and Gilly played flutes alongside me, and Lois was right behind me, and I could hear her singing, and she sings like an angel. I felt such emotion, love and peace. It was the most beautiful music I'd ever heard, and I actually did feel as if I was in heaven. I knew in that moment I'd come home, and I was right where God wanted me to be. As Whitney Houston said, or sang, give me one moment in time when I'm all I thought I could be, when all of my dreams are a heartbeat away and the answers are all up to me. Then in that moment of time when I'm dancing with destiny, then I will be free. Thank you.
Wow, what an amazing testimony that was. How Kathy found God and her fiance Mark found God. He sadly died 2 years ago now, and he's gone to be with God. But Kathy has really been able to find this time to be supported by Lee Community Church, but also, more importantly, from God, who has not left her side, and she is being made stronger mentally, spiritually, but also physically. She's got an amazing testimony I would like you to listen to now about how she went to the doctors because she was suffering from vertigo. And she has also been suffering from MS, which is lesions in the body that cause inflammation and lots of physical problems. I just want you to listen to see what God has done with Kathy, and how that's she's starting to see some healing there as well. Also, since Mark died, she's been having a court case with some members of Mark's family, and this seems to be sorted out as well. God is just really moving in her life. So please listen, and yeah, just give thanks to God for what He is doing and still doing in people's lives today.
Yeah, so I really wanted to spread my good news, because I'd been a bit low and things weren't going great. And then I obviously had the vertigo and ended up in QA.
Yeah.
And whilst I was in QA, I had a scan, and I had an MRI and a CT scan. And just, they got, the next morning I went for an appointment and they got my ears sorted out, my balance. It's to do with my inner ear.
Okay.
And when I got home, I got a phone call and they just said to me, as far as we can tell, you have no more lesions, no new lesions, and we would expect more lesions. So we're going to put it down as benign for now. We can't understand it. And so it was like a mini miracle for me. I mean, I was absolutely shaking all over. And I said, so he just said, we're not worried about you. We're not worried about you. If you get more symptoms in the meantime, but he said, we're overjoyed for you. We're not worried. So I was like, oh, and so that was amazing. And then I had the amazing news that my court case had been dismissed. For the claimants had been dismissed. So God's just been doing all this stuff, and I just wanted to tell everybody, because I've been so overjoyed with it.
Yeah, rightly so.
And yeah,
Amazing.
and I, so I wanted to give anybody out there hope. Because when I walked into that church, I had 2 crutches and I had 2 hand splints on. And over the time I've been with the church, I've had different healings. My hands healed, my legs, are healing. My back is getting stronger, and it's nothing. It's just God. It's not anything I've done, except for praying and coming to church and talking to other church members and all of the lovely people that have done healing on me through God. And so I just had to tell you all, basically. I mean, the court case had been hanging over my head for 22 months since I lost Mark. So I had that was holding me back quite a bit from grief, and also feeling of like worry of my MS getting worse, getting relapsing, remitting MS. So always worrying about a relapse, and it didn't happen. I've had no relapses. I've only improved. So I just wanted to just say to everybody that there is so much hope. I'm not saying nothing's ever going to happen to me, but when the doctors are saying we're not worried about you, I'm sort of overjoyed. So yeah, that was it. And just to thank everybody that's done healing on me, and I'll continue to need. I'm going to continue to need some sozo and things. I've still got a lot over the death of Mark, but I did not see that coming. I just did not see his death coming. But he is with Jesus. He is with God and the Holy Spirit, and I will see him again. I know I will.
Yes.
So that was just basically Kathy's news.
And what good news it is.
I just love you all. So, yeah.
Yeah, Kath, we love you too.
love you all so much. So
Definitely too. So
it changed my life, life changing.
that's right.